want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
Good day, Mad Men Mafia.
That's right. I am Kirk M. Samuels.
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
When I just got loud right there, a minute, my dog looked over at me like, "What's the problem?
What's the problem?
Like,
why are you making noise?
Like, why you yelling, dude? Why you yelling? That ain't right. That ain't right.
Ain't right.
I got to chill for the dog."
So yeah, it is that time of week. It is that time of month. We are back in the studio. We're back online. We're doing our thing. And this is actually a semi-request from a friend who sent me a video that said, do you guys talk about these things? And I was like, well, we've touched on the subject in several different ways, but I don't think we've ever actually like gone deep and really gone, mile deep into this topic of men living disconnected in the world or living disconnected as a man. And I started thinking about this topic. And we talk all the time about men self-canceling, and men are, 3 to 8 times more likely to do that. And then we talk about all the struggles and different things that men go through. But it all comes back to the only reason we so advocate for men having a men's group, men having boys around, and men having a community is this living disconnected. Because we're human beings. We need to have some sort of connection with one another. And if it's not a romantic relationship, we still need to have connection in our lives. And the whole Lone Ranger thing doesn't work. Lone Ranger still had Tonto. So we wanted to dive into and really dig into and share some of our experiences about how we lived disconnected and how that worked out for us and didn't work out for us, and how being connected and having purpose and passion and others in our lives and community really affects a man and his life. And so I'll hand it over to you, Mr. Samuels. Like, have you ever felt like you're disconnected?
Oh, shizzle. Hey, out of the gate, though, I am curious, was this friend of yours male or female?
It was female.
See, we'll come back to that later.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that later. I had a feeling, but we'll come back to that later. But, man, I tell you what, I mean, I've lived most of my life just isolated, cut off. I've always had a whole lot of friends. I've always been, generally speaking, the guy that's the funniest guy in the room. I was kind of the Chris Farley, the Robin Williams. I was the guy that I had, I was like the clown that could make everybody laugh, but underneath the makeup, I had tears of loneliness, man, and I was cut off, and so I spent most of my life like that. I spent, a large majority of my life like that, as a matter of fact. I mean, probably, out of 53 years, I probably spent at least a good 43 to 45 of those years, just cut off. Again, there's a difference between being lonely and alone. I was never alone, ever alone, but I was always lonely. And matter of fact, I would almost say I medicated my loneliness by making sure I was never alone.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, you talk about disconnected and cut off. Yeah, that was the story of my life. Probably the story of a whole lot of men's lives, way more than 51 out of 100.
Yeah, I mean, my experience has always been feeling left out or feeling like I didn't fit in, feeling like, I was an alien on this planet. And it comes back to a lot of the work that we do. I mean, we write the books on it, we talk about it, we coach men on it, but it's that self-connection. And so many of us give away our belonging to somebody else because we are looking for that outside belonging. We didn't have the dad there to make us feel worthy. We didn't have the connection with the rest of our family to make us feel like we belonged and worthy. And so we develop these coping mechanisms. And sometimes it's addictions. Sometimes it's codependency. I mean, it could be a combination of all those things, but the nice guy syndrome, the clown syndrome, all these different things, being the class clown, a lot of times is about getting that attention and acceptance. Being the nice guy is about getting that attention and acceptance. being the guy that does everything for everybody else and asks for nothing. It's about getting that attention and acceptance. And it's about trying not to be disconnected. But the problem is we're not connected to ourselves internally. And so the external stuff never fills that hole. And it's like any other
Mhm.
addiction, any other substance, it may take the edge off. But after a while, you just need more and more, or you need something harder or something stronger. And it never addresses the real issue of your own disconnection from self, your own disconnection from yourself that causes that feeling and that need to look outside yourself. And for a lot of us,
Mhm.
I mean, like you said, I mean, for most of us, it's we're in our 40s probably. And if we make it through mid 40s and we're still here, then we probably figure something out. And then we start going, hey, what about me? Where am I at? Where's my inner child at? What's going on inside me? Why do I feel these needs do all these things? Because it's not working for me. But a lot
Mhm.
of guys don't make it past that point. We know a lot that maybe for one reason or another kind of took themselves out because they didn't address the central issue, which was their own internal self, their own inner child, their own wounding, and create that connection with themselves. They kept looking outside themselves. And you can only get so much outside yourself to actually fulfill you. Most of that is just a band-aid. It's just going to keep you going a little while longer, but it's not actually going to heal the issue on the inside.
When you disconnected on the inside, it comes out of dysfunction on the outside. When you disconnected on the inside, quite commonly, very often, that internal disconnection leads to external dysfunction, like addiction, like just overconsumption of anything, whether you call it addiction or not, like just bad habits, bad patterns, bad relationship. Even to your point of being a pleaser, a people pleaser. That's why the nice guy is not a good man, because he's doing the external pleasing because of that internal disconnect, man. And like I said, having spent most of my life, and this is just kind of factual, and this is me in retrospect anyway. But having spent most of my life in that state, I'll tell you that for sure. I was, I've my baseline was being the pleaser, the one that took care of everybody, the one that um, the one that just wanted to make everybody happy and all those kinds of things. And then even now, I talk about it that in large groups of people, the closest people in my life, very rarely, and this may be the same issue, maybe something different, but rarely a lot of the people closest to me, not everyone, but a lot of the people closest to me, rarely do people check in and say, "How you doing? Do you need anything?" Um, because I've had this conversation here, at home with my wife, and it's because normally I'm okay, and I put myself second, and I put everybody else first, and everybody just assumes that I'm okay because I'm always going to be okay. I always have been okay. I never have been needy. I never asked for anything from anybody. All these kind of traits, just come from the fact that I kind of had a baseline of production, a baseline of wanting to be accepted, a baseline of all that stuff on the outside. I just wanted somebody to to love me and make me feel connected. So because I was so disconnected on the inside, and it's like, I'm so out of touch on the inside that all I do is touch on the outside.
Weird.
And, well, and that was part of my addiction. I mean, dude, all you can go on and on and on, but yeah, man, at the core of that, the premise is, or the thought is, yeah, when you have that disconnect on the inside, man, the outside, it's just going to be some level of dysfunction.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, so many of us develop these coping mechanisms to try to create that connectedness, or so we don't feel disconnected. But because we're not connected within, and we're usually running from ourselves, or running from the pain, or stuffing the pain, or covering up with something, then we don't generate those relationships. We don't generate the connectedness that we're craving. We don't get that because we're not getting it on the inside, which is ironic because to those who have, more is given; to those who have not, more is taken. That's true in so many ways and really fits in here because when you feel connected to yourself, all those things are given to you naturally because you already am embodying connectedness. You're already embodying belongingness. You're already embodying the self love, those aspects that you're hoping to get outside yourself. But especially for us guys, I mean, and you and I are Gen X, we're getting to that age, and our generation was just taught to survive. And so, just like you said, we just learned how to get along and not ask for nothing. And, we got either the parents weren't home or they were home. They told us to get back out the house or, don't bother me. So we learned to take care of ourselves. And some of that bleeds into this feeling disconnected because we're just used to taking care of ourselves and surviving and we're good at it. And so we don't know how to reach out. We don't know how to ask for it. And so many men nowadays are just taught that. Don't reach out. Don't be weak. Don't say what's going on. Don't be honest. Don't open up that wound because you never know if you're gonna stop bleeding. Just suck it up. Just be a guy and be tough and close your mouth. And we see it in dating, we see it in families, we see it in all these different areas where this guy that we never thought, oh, he was such a nice guy, he was such, salty earth, such a good man. Then he takes himself out or something else takes him out. You're like, oh, I didn't know he was suffering so much. Well, it's because he didn't open up. He didn't feel connected enough within himself and strong enough and foundational enough within himself to even open up and ask for help or even to express himself. I mean, I think for most of us guys, it's not even as much about help as it is about being heard. We're so desperate to be heard. We're so desperate to have somebody just listen and not say anything, not try to fix us, not trying to judge us, just be like, hey, this is what I'm feeling right now. And I was watching the Patty Pimblett thing and he was talking about being depressed for months and months after a fight until he finally called his buddy and just said, hey, I'm feeling this way. And his buddy didn't even offer any solutions, but it was just the fact that he got to express it, he got to vent and got to let that energy out. And sometimes that's the first step to connection. The first step to interconnection is just talking and being honest about what's going on inside.
Mm. Well, we honestly need to go to a break.
Do we? All right, sir.
Then let's just being honest. If we're being honest, then we need to go
Honestly,
ahead
I
and be
think you're
honest with
early,
that.
but you know what? I respect
Well,
and I feel you, and I think I will honor your suggestion, and we will go to a break. We're the
all
Mad Men
right,
of
we'll be right
Masculinity. This
back.
is KLDC and the interwebs everywhere. You can watch us and find us, and we'll be right back. You was just getting
I don't have my
thirsty.
stopwatch. And I was trying to look at the clock on my phone,
Mm, you're
but I
good.
don't
You're
have
good.
I don't have my stopwatch.
That's all right.
So,
Got it. I got it now.
all right, cool. It ain't my problem no more.
You ready?
Plus, I was about to go off on a tangent, and it would have
Well,
been more
good.
than a minute.
I didn't want you going off on a tangent and then running
Yeah,
along. Let's bring you
it'd
back
have
to
been
that
more.
tangent.
All right, let's do it. We're back.
Yes, we're back.
We are back. Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC here in Denver, Colorado.
Hmm.
Do people say Colorado? I don't know. Denver,
Uh,
Colorado.
Probably not
You
because
know,
people that they probably don't live around here.
who knows? Home of the best baseball team in Major League,
Are you making fun of Rockies again?
the famous Colorado Rockies. Man, I'm just saying they're the best team, man. I
Okay.
mean, sure.
Yeah. Every
Um,
time you say they're the best team, you mean something else. I've known that over the
I don't
years.
mean nothing, man. I don't mean nothing. I ain't talking bad about my home team. I ain't talking bad about my home team. Well, my
Well,
home team where I live. I ain't talking bad about
you better not. They carry big
it.
bets. But
I
right
know,
before
man.
break,
Listen, I
you
agree.
wanted to go off on a tangent, and
I
for
was
those of
just
you
gonna,
just
man.
tuning
I was
in,
talking
we're
about the
talking
fact
about
that this, yeah,
living
this is what
disconnected as a man. So, what were you going to talk about?
this is one of those topics where, and I said I wanted to come back to it. I think it's ironic that it was the female that asked you
Oh yeah,
about this topic,
yeah.
because, well, ironic in a couple ways. For one, that women, and we were talking about this a few days ago with the other B-men guys we had to meet them. Talking about how women are very concerned about the state of men these days, or at least
Hmm.
curious about the state of men these days, the state of masculinity, the state of all those kinds of things, and there's actually a lot of women helping, wanting to make connections and helping to advance the cause, probably
Yeah,
more than men, if you want to be honest,
yeah.
in terms of the taking action and that sort of thing. and that's because I mean I think as a society we know that when men are better, society's better. When men are better, we're all safer. You don't have these mass casualty incidences when men are better because they're all males doing this kind of stuff. Families are more secure, economies, governments, organizations, churches, HOAs. Man, your McDonald's drive-through is probably going to have better
Everybody.
service when men are better, and I think we all know that. And so it's ironic that women are concerned, it seems like more than men. But I also think I speculate that from us talking about these topics, that probably more women than not would want us to hurry up and get to the point where we tell men to get your stuff together, get your poop in a group,
Yeah.
pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and here's what you need to do and all that kind of stuff. And I would suspect that less women are really, really, really dialed into wanting to hear what the male experience is like, because
Yeah.
the impression is, well, we got the patriarchy, so we should just be happy and suck it up with that, and anything that we don't get is because we don't deserve it or something along those lines. Like there's very little patience for hearing the male plight.
Yeah.
But I think there's at the same time, or at least this is my perception. This I don't care if somebody agrees or disagrees. This is what I see. Um, um, that there's very little patience for the struggle being real on the male side. Um, but there's curiosity and there's interest in us getting better from the female perspective. I just thought that was interesting that you brought that up. That it was actually a woman that kind of presented this topic.
Yeah. Well, and I'm no mind reader as much as they would like us to be, but I'm going to assume that she watched the video and we hadn't spoken in a while, so this was kind of her olive branch or her way of opening the door and being like, "Hey, do you guys talk about this stuff?" And we did talk after that for a little while, and then went back to silent mode. But I hear what you're saying, because there is a lot of emphasis nowadays on guys healing themselves because women want men to be what they want them to be, but there's no patience. It's the same sort of like women tend to be at the finish line. They want the guy that already has six figures and already has the success, they already has all these things, so they can, because that feels secure, that feels safe, and they want that guy. They want the 1%er that has all these things, so they can have this lifestyle because that's what makes them feel good. But for the guy, and this is one of the things I love about Tony Robbins, because he talked about his wife and he said, she came to him and helped him through one of the darkest periods of his life. And he would die for that woman. There's no other woman could catch his eye. She's got him. And that's one of the things I don't think a lot of ladies understand. And it's kind of apropos that we're talking about men living disconnected on this episode. And then this was brought to us by a woman, because a lot of them do. And I think and good heartedly, with the best intentions, tell us these things or send us these things, and say, hey, help these guys to be more connected, to be more healthy. And I think in their own way, it's kind of selfish because they want to have these good men in their lives, but there is a lack of patience. And there's also a lack of wanting to go through the tough times with them. And there's one of the secrets, ladies, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, if you made it this far, that means you're probably one of the few, one of the small percentage who can hear the truth and not get emotionally triggered by it and then turn off and run away. But if you can help a man out, out of his disconnection, out of whatever he's dealing with, and if he's already on the healing path and he's already taken those steps and he just needs support, if you can support that man and be there for him as he goes through that dark night of the soul, it goes through that tunnel. When he comes out the other side, he's sold. You don't have to worry about him ever going anywhere else. You got him. But it's about, planting that seed and being there in the dirt with him in the beginning, and then helping him through that, and being that rock for him, because you want that man to be your rock. Sometimes you got to reciprocate and be that for him. And, it's about being in partnership and about being supportive, about helping each other. So if that man is disconnected, but he's working on creating connection in his life, connecting to his self, and you can be there and support that, that's the biggest aphrodisiac and the biggest, you know, relationship coaching I could give you.
Man, I hear and I get everything you saying, and I also firmly believe that 99 out of 100 women are gonna be like, "Look, I ain't got no time to help
That's
raise
what I
no
mean.
man who's supposed to be a man. Like
That's what I
he's
mean.
supposed to get there on his own. I got my own this and that.
Finish line.
I make 83 cents for the dollar that the man makes, and I ain't got time for it. And I'm just telling you, I mean,
Oh, I know.
that's what that side says. That side says, you need to be a finished product. That
Yeah.
side says, they really, at their core, they want us to be whole so that they don't have to be.
Yeah.
You can take that however you want, but they want us to be solid foundation so they don't have to be the foundation. They want us to do the things that they really don't want to do. And this is not a knock. This is just relationships. I mean,
Yeah.
man, I know women well. I got a wife, some ex-wives. I got a mom. I got a sister. I got three daughters, a daughter-in-law. I got two granddaughters. I mean, on and on and on. And so, I mean, this is just the reality. When they don't want to kill the bug, the spider, they want you to do it. When they
Yeah.
don't want to pump the gas, they want you to do it. And that's just the way it is. I'm not putting a value to that. I'm not saying, they're bad or men are good and nothing like that. I'm just saying that's the reality. I mean, let's just be honest with that. And so when you say what you just said, to the large majority of the female population, the thing that resonates inside of them is that's the snake or the bug that I don't want to kill. That's the gas that I don't want to pump.
Yeah.
Those are the groceries that I don't want to bring in from the car. Like that's the stuff I don't want to do. I don't want to help because it's ugly. It's dirty, man. It's if you talk about killing the spider, try killing the demon that's inside of me. Right? I
Mhm.
mean, you talk about, putting a fire on the grill, man, try putting out the fire in here, man, the thing that's raging inside of me. So they would just rather not, they would rather us be the foundation for them so that they don't necessarily have to carry the weight unless they want to. Whether
Yeah.
that's fair, unfair, whether that's right, just, whatever you want to call it. That's just the reality of the facts. I'm not a woman hater. I love
Mhm.
women. I need women in my life. I mean, like I said, I'm surrounded by women. I mean, on and on and on. I became an empire where because of two future women, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and so that's not hating. That's just the way it is. But anyhow, as I hear everything you just said, like I can almost hear in the background through the voices of all the women that I know in my life, all of them are
Yeah.
saying, "Yeah, I ain't got time to be helping no man get to where he need to be. He need to get there on his own, and then and do some helping around here."
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, you say weird and wild things, but, you hit the nail on the head right there. And I mean, if you want the evidence, when a man is in his masculine and the woman feels he's in his masculine, she acts like a child. When a man is not in his masculine, the woman feels like she needs to be in charge, then she acts like his mother. So that dichotomy right there will show you how the ladies want the relationship to be. And all I'm saying is just like anything else. I mean, ladies, you like to garden, you like to grow food, you like to have your little garden out back. It's not instantaneous. You got to get in the dirt, you got to pull weeds, you got to do these things. If you see a good man or you see a man you see potential in, and he's going through that, trying to create connection, trying to heal himself, going through those things, and you can be supportive of that, then you'll never have to worry about that man not supporting you after that ever again. And that's all I'm saying is it's just like planting a crop. It's just like getting into the dirt because if ladies are honest, and we know a lot of you don't like to be honest, but if you were honest, what you want is a man who will get in the dirt with you. What you want is a man who is foundational enough to deal with your emotions, who's not going to run away, who's going to be there, who's going to be strong and foundational, and be masculine while you're get to be in your feminine and be all over the place, and be the wild roaring river and the tide going in and out, and have all the fluctuations of femininity. You want that man to be solid, and all I'm saying is, if you want that man to be solid in your life and not go anywhere, be solid for him while he's going through his stuff because it's give and take. This whole you got to do for me and I don't have to do for you, and this dual standard that's going on and double standard, it's not working for anybody. And it's just a reality check, ladies. You want that man to be who you want him to be. Sometimes you got to get in the dirt with him so he feels safe, he feels respected, he feels secure. And for like Kirk said, when we as men get to that place and are willing to get into the dirt and start killing those demons and healing our inner child and going and doing that shadow work, it's ugly. It's not pretty. but on the other side is beauty. On the other side is that rose bush and all those crops that you want to sow. All that future comes from getting in the dirt and digging in the mud and doing all those dirty things together and being supportive of that man while he goes through that. But if you're not willing to do that, now we know why you're single and unhappy and you can't find no good man because you're not willing to get in the dirt with him. And yeah, speaking of getting in the
Now
dirt,
yeah,
it's time for us
let's
to
get
make
in some
ourselves a
dirt.
dirty little break, and then I'll let you run off on your tangent. 'Cause I can feel that
And I'm
tangent
gonna run
building.
off and and contradict almost everything I just said too.
Okay, good. All right, I appreciate it. We're gonna have some contradiction right after this break. We'll see you in a minute. See, that's why people don't be trusting us, man. You be contradicting yourself too much. You're just gonna give the other side of the like I
Yeah,
said
I'm gonna
this,
give the
now I
other
can say
side of
that.
that. Yep. Absolutely.
All right, let's
That
have
is
some
it.
contradiction.
Let's do it. Your boys are back. Mad
Yes, we
Men
back.
of Masculinity. KLDC, 12:20 a.m. in the Mile High City, home of the Colorado Spartans, the Colorado Avalanche, Colorado Rockies, Denver Broncos, Denver Nuggets. I wonder why a team chooses either the state or the city in their name. I don't know. I wonder what the deal is with that.
Well, it seems like the
Who
biggest
knows?
ones choose
Whatever.
the
The
city
random
and
things
the
I think
smaller
about.
teams choose the state. I don't know.
Maybe by what sounds better.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I guess Colorado Broncos doesn't roll off the tongue as good as Denver Broncos.
But
So what's your contradiction, man? You said you had some contradictions? You're gonna just go back on everything you said?
I think my sound completely cut out over here, man.
Pardon us for this little technical difficulty break. Kirk's technology is not working for him right now.
I'm good now.
Oh, you good now? Okay. Well, stop messing with it, man. When you play with it, you can go blind.
I know, man. I got one of the little noisemaker popper things over here, man. It'd be, my fidget, problems. I got fidget problems.
You know this is radio too, right? You know it's audio. We can't be having all this noise on the other side.
I went to public school, man, so you need to back off. You need to back off and relax.
All right, I'm backing off. Relax. I want to hear about this rebuttal you got, this contradiction you got.
So the reality is, and here's the truth. Men like truth, right? I'm gonna speak to guys for a second. Men like truth. Here's the truth, fellas. Ain't nobody coming for us. Here's the truth, fellas. Big system, the big system that's out there, the man, whatever it is, industry, whatever you want to call it, I mean, is okay with us being out of touch internally, is okay with us being disconnected, is okay with us being addicted, is okay with us clocking out early, is okay with us having families fall apart left or right. That whole, whatever entities out there that there are, they're not coming for us. And so it is up to us. It is up to us to circle the wagons. It is up to us to seek the destination that we want to be in. It's up to us to not wait for the cavalry, because the cavalry these days, in terms of this anyway, is probably not coming for us. And so that's just the reality of life, man. And us as men, if we don't do it, it ain't getting done. If men don't come together, if men don't get our poop in a group, if men don't say, wait a minute, there's got to be something more to life. Like this can't be the brightest light of existence. There's got to be something more. There's got to be something deeper. There's got to, like, if we don't come to a conclusion, we don't do it. It just ain't, because the system out there don't care. They to be divided, manipulated.
Yeah, I mean the system at large, the system we deal with, the system we live in, the system we're trying to change, doesn't want us to be connected, doesn't want us to be healthy, doesn't want us to be grounded, doesn't want us to have healthy relationships. And I mean, I don't care if you, I mean, at this point in life, with everything going on in the world, if you're not a conspiracy theorist, either you got your head in your sand or you don't want to know. And so The conspiracy is they wanted to kill the nuclear family, and they started that with killing men. Then they started with the feminist movement. They started with all these other things, and it's not about them coming to save us. And I said all that about, ladies, you want to get a man, be there in the dirt with him, because I'm hoping the few of you, the small percentage of you, the 1% of the ladies who can hear this and take it in for what it is and not get emotional about it, will understand what I'm trying to say. But to Kirk's point, men, you got to start in the mirror. And the best way to do that is to get around other guys doing the work. You are the sum of the 5 men or the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so if those crackheads and idiots that you're spending the time with aren't doing it for you, it's time to change up your social circle, change up your men's group, change up the guys you hang out with, and improve those. And we've got to look in the mirror and say, this isn't working for me. I need to make this better. How do I make it better? Starts in the mirror, starts with the group, it starts getting real and getting in the dirt, because that disconnection you feel is not about out there. It's about in here. And we just had the last episode talking about who should lead in family. Well, man, if you're not leading in family, it's because there's a disconnect within you. You don't feel foundational. And so you're deferring to your woman. And she hates it. She'll do it. She doesn't want to be in the leadership role. She doesn't want to be the dad. She doesn't want to be in that position. But if you're not foundational and connected within yourself, then she feels that she doesn't feel safe or protected. And so she's naturally going to take over that role. And then she's probably going to push you out because you don't feel safe to her. You feel like another child that she's got to rear. So what we're saying is, if you are feeling disconnected, we want you to be connected. Number one, with yourself. Number two, with whatever higher power you believe in. And number three, with the community of men around you and your family and the broader community at large. But disconnection should not be happening in this world today, which ironically, social media, which you're watching us on now, has been one of the biggest detriments to connection in the world. We are more connected and more disconnected. We're more virtually connected and less physically connected. And so get off of this after you watch this, after you take this, maybe listen to it in the gym, and then start talking to people. Start making physical connections, real connections in the real world, so that you can actually feel connected to something bigger than you. I was at a training meeting today for work, and we were talking about being part of the community. One of the reasons we live where we live and we do what we do is because we feel the community. We feel like a part of something. And most of the disconnection that you can tell that you're dealing with has to do with disconnection from yourself and the community. There's no epidemic of male loneliness, or there shouldn't be, because there's so many outlets out in the world, at the gym, on the golf course, at the church, wherever, at the men's group, that you connect with others. And that connection with others will help you connect with yourself. But it starts in the mirror, and Kirk's absolutely right. We wish women would see this and see a man as a project and come in and help him and dig in the dirt. But most likely it's gonna be you. You got to decide and then go get help.
Yeah. Yeah. The reality is, if you're, if you're fat, nobody's going to help you get skinny. If you're weak, nobody's going to help you get strong. If you're lonely, nobody's going to, come drag you to whatever. Nobody's going to bring that connection to you. I mean, I can go on it. If you are not educated, nobody's going to just show up at your door and educate you. And this is just the reality of life. And this is from I've had some rock bottoms in my life, and where, man, I wish that there was, whatever. I mean, I wish there was somebody that was just going to knock at my door with the solution. And unfortunately, or maybe even fortunately, I had to go find that solution. I had to go formulate that solution. I had to, it's like that statue with the self-made man. I had to take a hammer and chisel and break off all the parts of me that weren't meant to be there for the final product of who I want to be. And so, the reality is, as men, it's going to take us individually and collectively to move to everywhere we want to be. And you keep bringing up the mirror. I firmly believe that you need to look in the mirror and love who you see in the mirror, and recognize that what you see in the mirror is a work in progress.
Yeah.
Self-love is important, man. Love of self is narcissistic, but self-love is important, and you got to love yourself enough to get out of the pit and to claw and scratch your way out of the pit. You got to love yourself enough to do it, if nothing else, for you, so that you can be better for somebody else maybe one day. But the reality is, man, this is just real man talk. Like they whoever they are, they ain't coming for us. They ain't. So if we don't go get it, it won't be got, and we gonna end up getting got because we ain't go get whatever it was that we were supposed to get and go get got.
And that poem was brought to you by Kirk Samuels. Anyway, but no, the whole disconnection was kind of where I started. I mean, this has been my journey. I mean, my newest book, Facing Devil and You, over my shoulder there, is about that shadow work and inner child work. And the disconnection that I medicated with alcohol and porn and sex and drugs for 30 plus years was because of that disconnection to my inner self. And when I got into the inner child work and the internal family system therapy and reconnected with that part of myself. So for us, most of us men, and for women as well, this is very true. It's the traumatized inner child. It's the child that didn't feel seen and heard. It's the child that, you know, didn't have the father figure around, or a healthy mother figure, didn't have the childhood that would have been more healthy, would have, you know, prepared you for the world. It's us as adults now reconnecting with that part, reconnecting and re-raising that inner child. And for us guys, it's much easier when you look in the mirror. You got to find you a picture of yourself as a baby, or as a, 5, 6 year old, put it in the mirror and look at that picture. Because when we look in the mirror and we see this adult, by default, most men go, why don't you do better? I don't understand why you do better. You're a grown man. Not realizing it's that little boy, that little 5, 6, 7, 8 year old that's running the show. And when you reconnect with that part of yourself, when you heal that part of yourself, and for me, it wasn't just one part. It was like 3, 6, 9, 12. Like every 3, 4 years, there was trauma that I had to go back and heal. And then, like that Russian nesting doll, put them back together and put them back inside, and then reconnect with those parts of myself. That allowed me to quit drinking. That allowed me to let go of these addictions. That allowed me to be more present, more honest, more foundational. And honestly, as frightening, as scary as it sounds to most guys when we start talking about shadow work and dealing with the inner child, because we feel like we're holding back the Hoover Dam of emotions, and that if we open that door, it's never going to stop and it's going to keep flowing out. It's the most cathartic thing you can do. And if you want to be brave now, you want to be a man who's foundational and brave and has self love, you've got to go inside and talk to the inner child and re-raise and reconnect, because that's going to heal all those issues that you don't know how to heal, all those things you're struggling with that you're soothing. Starts with that inner child.
Yeah. That work is important, man, because I feel like at a young age, something happens to a lot of us where there's a disconnect between just the idea of love and acceptance, the idea of worth and value, the idea of significance, the idea of connection. Gets amputated in a lot of us at a very young age, and we don't even realize it until we're older, and most of us never realize it, but you realize it when you kind of become a little bit more self-aware, and you realize that, man, it's a lot of what I do is motivated from that little wounded boy inside of me from whenever that thing is that got amputated. And again, this world gives us no shortage of ways to stay cut off, to stay isolated, to stay whatever. I mean, you can get anything delivered. You can get all the booze you want delivered to your house. You ain't got to go to a bar these days. You got all the free porn you want right on your cell phone. You get DoorDash that can deliver every pack of cigarettes you want. I mean, whatever the thing is. I mean, the whatever, all the isolate. I mean, you got all the Netflixes and Hulus and Primes and all the apps on your Roku and all that kind of stuff to keep you on the couch.
All the distractions you can handle.
You can be on the couch eating flaming hot Cheetos and watching reality TV all day, all night, every night, and basically just moving further and further into the pit. So the world is just going to keep offering us all of those kinds of things, and it's up to us to get out of there.
And speaking of moving further and further away from the pit, we're gonna take ourselves a last break. So we're the Mad Men of Masculinity. This is KLDC, and we'll be right back. Man, yeah.
Man, yeah, these kind of things are just the reality of the situation,
Yeah.
man. It just
Yeah, I
is,
mean,
man.
it's what I'm seeing too is it's starting to kind of come around for me. And I'm seeing a lot of the guys are kind of going that way too, where we're starting to just naturally pull away from all these distractions. I'm starting to naturally pull away from the porn and the booze and the all the shows and just start going outside, start connecting, going out and with nature and connecting with other guys. And I think it's something we all need to put on our to-do list and make it more of a conscious thing because all the other distractions is not making us more connected, it's making us more disconnected.
This is what like anyway. I'm sticking with it. A round of golf. Round of golf will get you around three other people. It'll
Yep.
get you out in nature, and
Yep.
it'll get you walking,
Yeah.
mobile, and it'll
And
give
it'll
you
tell you a whole
problems
lot
to
about
solve.
yourself.
It'll give you problems to solve over and over again,
Yep.
and it'll never let you be completely perfect. Uh, but at the same time, it'll always give you those moments of greatness
Yeah.
that keep you coming back.
Keeps you coming
It's
back.
a dysfunctional relationship, but it's a solution, man.
Yeah. It's the best toxic relationship you'll ever have out on the golf course.
Play golf.
All right, let's bring it back.
Yep. Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC. Man, on the interwebs everywhere. Holler at your boys,
Everywhere.
Facebook and YouTube. Stop being a
Everywhere wide.
chump. It don't cost you nothing to hit a button on your social media. Hit a like or a repost or a follow or I've been liking them little clips that we've been cranking out of the machine. A
Yep.
lot of people, other people are too. Hit repost on them bad boys, man. Stop being a sucker.
Yep.
I mean, it don't cost you absolutely nothing at all. I just came out with a huge epiphany.
Uh-oh.
Huge epiphany is the problem of most men's the solution of most men's problems in life is around the golf.
I dig it.
And
I dig it.
I firmly believe it, man. You get out with other people, you get out in nature, you get some sun, some vitamin D, you get some colors in your eyesight, not just a screen, some depth perception. Man, I can go on and on and on, man, but
Yeah.
golf is great.
Yeah, I posted that one recently. Golf is a toxic relationship, and I agree, but it's the most healthy toxic relationship you'll ever have because it's like
Right.
life. You get out there, you have a nice round, you meet some strangers, you make connection, and then you get to experience yourself on the golf course. Every good shot, every bad shot, every missed putt, you go from one hole to the next is like a whole different world. It's perfect for guys, especially because it's problem solving 101, and it's a new problem every hole, every stroke. You got if it's me and Kirk, you got 6 to 10 strokes per hole that you got to solve. If you're a pro, it's 2 to 3, but you
Yeah,
still find
yeah.
yourself out there.
And check it out. You know what? And you also have to, besides just, putting the little ball in the cup, it's really a practice of getting quiet too, to get in touch with the inside. Like it's really a series of how many strokes it takes you to get through a round of golf, whether it's a 2-digit number or a 3-digit number. Each time, like you got to get quiet. You gotta, you gotta get still. I mean, man, that's what we need. We need the ability to get still. We need the ability to get quiet. We need the ability to get outside of just the rut and just get
Mhm.
outside of everything and to get it and all of that is how we find a path within here. And it starts in the mirror. Maybe for some people it starts in the gym. Maybe for some people it can start at all kinds of places, man. It can start in a library, man. It can start at, for sure. It can start at a church. It can
Yeah.
start at a men's group, or it can start whatever. But beginning that journey back in here, man, it's only 18 inches from your head to your heart, but man, that can be a really long distance for somebody to travel.
Yeah. Well, and you bring up a good point too. One of the greatest causes of male depression and loneliness is being overly self-centered and being stuck in your thoughts. And you get if you're doing the work to heal, you have help, you have support. If you're just sitting on your couch eating Flaming Hot Cheetos and just, oh, woe is me and why does my life suck? Now you're being overly self-centered. And we have to have a balance of outward focus and inward focus. And for most of you guys that are, a part of the male only epidemic, which I hate that term, I think it's stupid. But if you're, part of that category and you're at home and you're depressed and you're just watching Netflix and drinking, you're too inward focused. We always have to have, especially as men, something greater than ourselves to live for, something greater than ourselves to focus on. And so if you're feeling depressed, if you're stuck in this, I feel disconnected and I don't know what to do with my life, go find something bigger than yourself to work towards, whether that's community, whether that's church, whether it's AA or, whatever, NA, some group, something bigger than yourself to work on, become part of a community, create a community. And if you don't have a community, if you don't see one out there, create one, be the catalyst. You are somebody, if you're sitting there going, I think somebody should do something about that, or somebody should start a group. Well, you're somebody, you start it. And once you become more outward focused and you are part of something bigger than yourself, you'll start feeling more connected to yourself. But being too inward focused and too self-focused in a negative way causes more disconnection than it actually heals. You want to be more outward focused to something bigger than yourself, and then you'll generate a lot more of the self-respect and self-love you need to feel connected.
How about this? How about you go volunteer? How about you go serve somewhere? Every single homeless shelter is looking for volunteers. And you want to be thankful for what you have in life, and what you don't have. You want to contribute to making the world a better place. Go serve at a homeless shelter, man. I mean, go just go help wash dishes or go help serve food or whatever. I don't know what it is, but might be your thing. But go volunteer somewhere, man. There's always an opportunity to serve. That gets us outside of just the rut, outside of the head space, and it gets us into the heart space, man. So if you don't want to go play around the golf, go serve at a homeless shelter.
Yeah, I mean, anything that can connect you with other people will help you connect to yourself. It's we as men, and it's the sad truth and the sad reality. We've been taught our lives, suck it up, be a man, don't be weak and ask for help. But we're human beings first and men second. We need connection. We need to have something larger than ourselves to live for, something bigger than ourselves to connect to. And so if you're stuck in that rut, get out, go volunteer, go get help, go connect with somebody else, because I guarantee most of those people you connect with need the same connection you need. They're feeling the same disconnection. And so you can go out and volunteer, go play golf, go to the gym, go to the church, go anywhere, go to the coffee shop and start a conversation with a dude that's sitting there chilling that looks like, you'll feel him. There'll be that resonance. Like, I think he feels like he needs to talk to somebody too, but he's too afraid to talk to somebody. So let me go talk to him. And that is how we get out of this constant feeling of disconnection.
Yeah. It's a tough journey, man. And, guys out there, fellas, it ain't easy, man. It's just not easy. A lot of us are, a lot of us have been hurt and wounded by other men as well. A lot of us are struggling with stuff that we don't talk about, that we don't tell anybody about. A lot of those things that we struggle with, we surely think that nobody would understand and that nobody cares. And, to some degree, those feelings might be valid. And to some degree, they might be reality to some point. But, so it's tough being here doing the things, where most guys are trying to do better and be better than what they had grown up. Most guys, there are some that don't and that aren't. And, we've all made mistakes. And that's another thing we're trying to get over. We're trying to get past the mistakes that we've made in life. And so my point is, it's tough, man. It is hard. And sometimes it's easier to just say, screw it, and just, I'm just going to go in my cave and that's it. And, forget the world, I mean, and I don't care about nobody else, and, or just be disconnected on the inside, but still be trying to portray that role on the outside. That's definitely the easier and more straightforward way to go. It's like the guy that was out hiking and his arm got caught in a rock, right? And ultimately his solution was, I got to cut it off if I'm gonna get out of here. And a lot of us, we cut off parts of us for the sake of survival. And I get it. and at the same time, that's not the healthiest place to be in life. And life is bigger than that. Even that guy that cut his arm off, went off and made a movie about the dude. So life is bigger than the story and the trauma that you went through.
Yeah. Well, and we all, throughout our lives, we develop coping mechanisms. We have coping mechanisms. We use things to get through, to survive. And if you're still in this place where you need the crutch, you need it, then by all means use it. Thank God you have that thing that keeps you surviving and keeps you from checking out. But once you get to the place of self awareness and you realize that you don't need it anymore, you don't want it anymore. That's what happened for me. Spent, I don't know, the last 2 years of drinking where I was drinking basically every night and putting away a 6 pack and smoking a half pack of cigarettes and every day going, I'm not going to drink again. Today I'm going to be healthy. And then like on autopilot, heading straight home, grabbing another 6 pack or whatever, and knowing that I needed to change, knowing I needed to make a change, and then asking for support, asking for help, and finding what I needed, and doing the internal family system therapy and doing the child work. That helped me release that. But for some of you, when you're in the depths of it, you're in the midst of it. Thank God you have alcohol. Thank God you have that crutch. Thank God you have a thing to keep you moving, to keep you going. But I hope for the day that you get to a place where you realize you don't want it anymore, you don't need it anymore, and you're ready to let that go and find the connection within yourself, find the connection to something higher and greater than yourself, so that you don't need to have that crutch and soothing mechanism anymore. You can actually stand on your own 2 feet and be the man that you've always wanted to be. We've all been there. Kirk and I are perfect examples of how not to do it and how to get out of it, because we've both been there. But I hope that you understand that that is just a crutch and you can put it down when you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. We definitely don't mean like big things to the just that and it, but reality is, man, life can be great. Life can be great even when it's cloudy outside, even when it's thunderstorming. Life can still be worth it. So us as men, it's available for us. We just got to go get it.
Yeah, I mean, remember, happiness is an inside job. It's all about your mindset. It's all about how you decide. If you decide to get up in the morning and be miserable, well, congratulations, you're gonna be miserable. If you decide to get up in the morning and be like, "Oh, look, it's raining. I love the rain." It doesn't matter what's going on the outside you. You give everything all the meaning it has for you. So when you decide that whatever is happening outside of you is wonderful, then everything is going to be wonderful. But if every day you get up and you're like, "Oh, everything sucks," well, guess what? Everything sucks. So you have the power. I just watched the new Master Universe. You got the power, of Grayskull. You get to decide. You can pull out the sword and scream into the top of your lungs, "I have the power." But it's true. You have the power. Happiness is an inside job. You get to decide. And all we're saying is decide to be happy, decide to be connected with your inner child, decide to be connected with God and whatever higher power you believe in, and get out there and connect with others in the world. If you feel disconnected, there's a million billion people out there that want to be connected with you and need that connection as well, because we're human beings first and men second.
Boom. We'd like to be connected.
Yeah, I like to be connected with everybody.
We down with all that, man. I mean, it's easy to get a hold of us. It's easy to find us. It's easy to reach out to us. We got the B-Men Summit coming up here in a few months, opportunities to be connected. And so if you're looking for a place to connect, you can reach out to either one of us and we'll help you find a way to connect. We'll help you, get on whatever path that you're trying to get on, to whatever degree we can help you get on that. So, I mean, that's who we are and that's what we do. And that's why we're here.
And make sure to go in the comments. I'm going to put in the link to the B-Men Summit. Just go to bmen.org/summit. You can get your tickets. It's a limited seating event. And yeah, you get to see us there. You get to tell us what you think of us, and we'll shake your hand for it. And until next time, I'm still Jason B. Kendrick. That's still Kirk M. Samuels. We're the Mad Men of Masculinity. We are out.